But why did you decide to join Ken and his team? I mean, we have other teams there. What really did you see about Ken that you had to join him?
So I think that Ken, for me, represents a true Ghanaian and who a Ghanaian is. Ken's story is very inspiring. He's a young man who was born in Asindompem to very, very simple Ghanaians. Went through the thick and thin, sixth form, A-level, passed to Adisado College, went to Winneba, started entrepreneurial work at a very tender age on the streets of Accra, hawking, selling, pioneering to go to Germany, Europe, where he worked, later on going to the US. And of course, there are many people who have had this trajectory of life in terms of people who have either relocated for greener pastures or for some endeavors.
Smart Ghana update.
But Ken's story is extremely unique. He comes back to the shores of Ghana in the 80s to
Smart Ghana
join
update.
the Dombo Buzia tradition at this very foundation with Professor Dubuahin and Michael Quay,
The verdict.
Kufuado, John Ajakum Kufo, J.H. Mensah, Hackman Osu Ajamain. I mean, all the names that you can think of, Banredu and all of that. And at the time when we were doing the culture of silence, you recall that Roku Bobre began this Radio Eye, which gave you and I an opportunity now to sit here maybe 35 years afterwards to say that we are part of the governance process in terms of the fourth realm of the estate. And so Ken has been a very sacrificial person. He's lived his life outwardly for people. And as I looked at the fallout of the 2024 general election, which obviously tells us that after almost a year of us losing the election, tells us that we are not in government. As you can see, we are an opposition political party. We have a minority in parliament. And I mean, I looked at the rebuilding efforts of the party. I looked at the fact that if the party needs to rebuild well, it needs to go back to the foundations of it. So I was really looking for somebody who was there when Dankwa Dombo Buzia tradition began. And amongst all the people, I mean, I could single out Oli Kennedy. I was looking at somebody that had been there when Professor Dubuahine was struggling for power for the Ghanaian people and even for the New Patriotic Party, because we came at the backbench of property-owning democracy, a libertarian government, and the property-owning democracy was because during the AFRC, PNDC era, you couldn't own a Peugeot, it will be taken away from you. You can't own a land, it will be taken away from you. You can't have money, it will be taken away from you. So we were bringing a democracy that was going to empower the Ghanaian people to be liberated and be able to own their own properties. And I felt that, I mean, Kennedy is par excellence. He served John Ajakum Kufo through the 90s when the government was in opposition, came into parliament, third parliament with President John Ajakum Kufo as president of the republic, went into the fourth parliament, went into opposition. The sixth parliament was in opposition when Ivan Satamils was president, and even John Dramani Mahama was president, phase one. Came again in parliament, seventh and eighth parliament when Anado Dankwa Akufo-Addo was president, and bowed out of parliament to be able to serve his political party. And really, the trajectory of politics is that after you've served almost a 360, you really need to end at the pinnacle of it. And Kennedy has served on various committees. I held in my hands at the time when we were in government 2 significant documents that is attributed to his committee work. One of that is the national security architecture and strategy, and the other is the cyber security architecture and strategy as well. So these 2 documents significantly for me tells me that Kennedy is the right person to be able to take power for us as a new patriotic party in 2028.
So on the flip side, I have Dr. Palgrave Boache Dankwa. He's a lecturer actually at UPSA, and also from Kennedy Agyapong's campaign. He's one man that I've known for years, and I want to ask him really about his position last year. Last 2 years, we were talking to you as someone in charge of security and governance, from the Nana Akufo-Addo's, administration, and we engaged you. You were very, very serviceable, I must say. Did you get the opportunity to work with Dr. Bawumia?
Well, how do I answer this question? I mean, it was a collective government. was a government of Akufo-Addo Bawumia-led government. In terms of up close, I met Bawumia a couple of times. He's a friend. I have relatives who are friends to him.
Smart Ghana
We
update.
engage and exchange conversations about Ghana. Yeah, I mean, I would say that, yes. He's a
Smart
friend.
Ghana
I'm
update.
not sure if we worked closely on any particular project that I can easily remember.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, he was my vice president. He was Ghana's vice president. And so, yeah.
I'm asking this because, I mean, everybody would have thought that since you were given a certain portfolio within that administration, of course, he was also the vice president and all that. One way or the other, perhaps you would have worked with him. And so the expectation was that you'd rather tilt towards his camp and not another person's, camp.
Well, I think that in the 2024 primaries for the New Patriotic Party, I was in the camp of the flag bearer. I mean, it was a system candidate.
Exactly.
I mean, there was really not much anyone could do about it. But I moved away from his camp primarily because of the results. And I mean, for me, my biggest interest is the New Patriotic Party. And if you recall from the very beginning of my conversations, I said that our fathers built this party. If you look at the 1947 4th of August, when Dr. J.B. Dankwa declared UGCC at Salt Pond with Power Grant and all the other big names that you can remember, the party has gone through various transitions, including the Northern People's Party, the Progress Party, and now Dankwa Dombo Buzia Tradition and the New Patriotic Party. So my interest is the party, and I've seen the results that had come from John Agyapong 1996-2000 election results, where he had more votes than all his parliamentarians put together. I've seen the results and the build-up of that of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo building upon the results that John Agyapong left. Okay, and I've seen the voter margin that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo had left to Mahmoud Bawumia, which was a 6.7 million votes. Mahmoud went into an election and gave a result of about 4 million. I mean, he had the lowest results in the flag bearership election of the New Patriotic Party, and in Ghana, and his parliamentarians had more votes than he did. His parliamentarians had about 5.2 million votes than he did. So I looked at it and I was like, no, we need to be able to recapture power, and we need to recapture power almost immediately. We cannot stay in opposition for a very long time. You are aware of what we're going through as a country now, and I mean, this is not a platform to be able to discuss that, but I have serious concerns about security in this country under the governance of John Dramani Mahama.
We'll talk about all of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll do that.
But I looked at that and I said that, I mean, as a young person who wants continuity in politics, who does not want to stay in opposition for a very long time, we need to be able to bring a candidate that the Ghanaian people themselves want.
Are you disloyal?
Not at all. I mean, I don't think that, I think that the question of loyalty is overly rated. I'm loyal to the New Patriotic Party. Okay, and my loyalty is to the Elephant Party, and that's what it is. We align based on strategies. We align based on timing. We align based on seasons. And I mean, obviously, yes. I mean, everyone was with Mahmoud. I mean, even the sitting president at the time, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, was making sure that Mahmoud becomes the flag bearer, which he did. And I think that goes as a hallmark for him. I mean, in the next 10 years, 20 years, when we are mentioning former flag bearers of the New Patriotic Party, they mention Professor Dubois-Hain, they mention John Agyapong, they mention Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, they'll mention Mahmoud Bawumia and mention Kennedy Agyapong. And so, I mean, I think that for me, loyalty is to the political party, and you align based on strategies and interests. And that is why my alignment is with Kennedy. It's on strategies, it's on interest, it's on what I'm hearing from the grounds, by the grassroots of the people. I mean, of course, why would you lose such an election when your predecessor left a voter margin of 6.7 and you could not even maintain that? I mean, the goal would have been to maintain it. You host this program. The standard will be for you to maintain this program or build upon it. If you don't build upon it and you don't maintain it, there's no use for Bolare keeping you here. You must be sacked. Clearly, I mean, and nobody goes into business to lose. We exist as a political party to be able to win power.
But Doc,
and that's the premise for it.
But do you also know that something when
Smart
you introduce a
Ghana
product
update.
on the market and the product doesn't really do well, there's always the need
Smart
to,
Ghana update.
rebrand the product by possibly even doing the SWOT analysis and all of that, using the pestle analysis and all of that. couldn't you have done the SWOT analysis using even personal, external environment and all of that to check all these things and then possibly rebrand the person to become what you wanted him to become instead of leaving his camp for a different camp?
When I was young, I used to like the Sunlight advert because it was one of the most played advert, and I still remember the song. Okay, Sunlight is a very good product. Even till date, if I get Sunlight, I'll use that. But Sunlight is almost out of the market, and so it's not just about the product and the rebranding of the product. Okay, it's about the fact that the unique selling proposition of that product still remains the same. And the variables that made us lose the election has not changed.
So even now, it still remains the same.
Even now, the variables are still the same, and I have data here that I can prove. I can pull it out for you.
So, Doc, you are saying that even if I'm not saying he's going to, but I'm saying even if he wins the internal elections,
I don't think that Mahmoud is going to win.
No.
There's no variables here.
No problem. But let's say if that is the case, if he wins the internal elections and is supposed to do the national contest, you are saying that he's not going to win?
I don't think so. The variables are really the same, and the Ghanaian people haven't changed. You don't expect the Ghanaian people to change overnight in 4 years. I remember the NDC is also wanting to prepare and also retain power. Okay, so I look at the variables, and those variables haven't changed. Okay, we presented the candidates to be able to win a sizable part of the Ghanaian people. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo left a voter margin, like I told you, of 6.7. He reduced it to about 4.2, 4.3 thereabout. That's almost like 2 million votes. But I particularly want to focus on the North, which is important. In the 2020 general election, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, in terms of Northern region, had 409,963. Okay, in the 2024 general election, Mahmoud Bawumia lost by 39,135. He reduced that vote. The vote of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo in 2020 of 409,963, Mahmoud Bawumia reduced that by 39,135. Let me just go on. I'll just finish up so that you. And then in Savannah, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo in the 2020 general election had 80,605. Mahmoud Bawumia reduced that by 23,831. In Upper East region, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo had 170,340 votes. Mahmoud Bawumia reduced that by 63,640 votes. In Upper West region, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo had 121,230 votes. Mahmoud Bawumia reduced that by 31,324. The only place that Mahmoud appreciated was Northeast. In Northeast in 2020, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo had 122,742, and Mahmoud appreciated it by 12,058. And so if you look at the data as it is here, and I'm going to compare that with what Dramani Mahama had, okay, because I think that is also very, very important. In the 2020 election, Mahama had 449,650 in Northern region. Okay, in the 2024 election, Mahama appreciated by 79,806 in that same region. In Northeast, okay, Mahama had in 2020 had 112,306, and he reduced it by 1,225. It means that he didn't even reduce it significantly that much. In Savannah, okay, Mahama had 138,001. In Upper East region in 2020, Mahama had 322,317. And in 2024, Mahama appreciated the Upper East region votes by an extra 39,280. In the Upper West region, Mahama in 2020 had 238,949. And in the 2024 election, he appreciated it by 3,903. So if you look at this data alone, it tells you that the variables are still the same. And so it's not really about, it tells you that, look, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, okay, as a Southerner, performed more than one who comes from that 5 northern regions. So the variables are still the same, okay? And it clearly tells me that for me, if the New Patriotic Party is really very serious about recapturing power
Smart
in
Gang
2028,
Update.
we need to be able to bring a candidate that the Ghanaian people have not tested yet. When we need to be able to test that variable, which
Smart
is why for me
Gang
I feel
Update.
that, it has to be Kennedy today, it has to be Kennedy tomorrow, it has to be Kennedy the next day. Because, he's the person that can be able to give us that vote that we need and be able to bring a competitive edge. The things that Kennedy is bringing on board Okay, you look at it. We sat in this country. John Dramani Mahama of the NDC campaigned on Nkokon Ketenkete. And I sit in my home on my dining table and I say, Nkokon Ketenkete won an election for the NDC.
It wasn't a good policy enough. It wasn't a good, formulator of policy enough for him to have won. Using the Nkokon Ketenkete.
Of course.
It was very traditional, very local. People could relate to it.
Of course.
It wasn't good enough.
Of course.
Dr. Pargrave. What are you trying to insinuate?
What I'm driving at is the fact that Nkokon Ketenkete was good enough to win an election.
Exactly.
That's what I mean.
Yes.
And so
it was very relatable.
Of course.
Yes.
So it's not the high rising things. That's what I mean. Kennedy says he will create jobs. It's the simple things that the Ghanaian people want. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who was our premier president in this country, told us that if he thought that the Ghanaian people needed bread and milk and butter, he would not have been building skyrocketing things. What didn't the New Patriotic Party do? The 2024 general election was not an election that we should have lost, with all the work that Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo had done. But it clearly tells you, if Nkokon Ketenkete could come and override all the things that we have done, it tells you that we should bring things that the Ghanaian people can relate to.
With all the economic, policies he had shared with us.
Everything that we had done, all the successes that we have chalked at a country, okay, under the New Patriotic Party, that could not retain as power. Nkokon Ketenkete, for somebody who had been in opposition for 8 years, used Nkokon Ketenkete, those chicken, scrolled slowly to Jubilee House. Today, as I speak to you, Nkokon Ketenkete is a Jubilee House. But all the brilliant ideas that we had could not give us Jubilee House. And that's what we want. We want to be able to go to Jubilee House. So we must bring a competitive policy.
But I'm sorry to also bring back the rebranding thing. And I was thinking that was when you could have actually sat down as a team to rebrand this person. And again, I'm shocked that you are sharing this information as if Dr. Bawumia was the sole reason for your loss.
Ike, let me ask you a simple question.
Which is quite unfortunate. I've even cited the report. And I'll give you some time to, feel free, because it's going to be a heavy night. So you can do more if you want to.
Oh, no.
It will be a heavy night.
I drink in bits. I drink in bits.
Guys, so join us live on Facebook, Star 103.5 FM. And of course, you can also send in some messages or your messages to be read right here on this platform, 055-288-0216, 055-288-0216, or 0535-183317. This is the verdict right on Star 103.5 FM. And of course, my name is Isaac Ade. On the flip side, I have Dr. Pargrave Boache Dankwa. He's a big man, and he's a lecturer as well. He's a lecturer in my school. But
is it?
He's
are you still there?
He's not even aware.
I do the masters.
Oh, higher quine. So
okay. No, then my university is a very big university. So
I see.
I wouldn't ordinarily
right?
know all the students.
I know.
Yeah, so
we're just by the by.
Yeah, sure.
So let's come back to the conversation, and I have a surprise for you tonight before the show ends. I have a big surprise for you. I'm just telling you, even though it's a surprise, but I've told you.
Okay.
And the surprise is going to be a conversation.
That's fine.
I'm disappointed.
No, I'm not at all. Not at all. I mean, I'm a very simple man. Everyone who knows me is aware that I'm a very simple man.
You know, I really wanted to exhaust, that part of the conversation. Then we'll come back to you and then some other, national issues, and then we'll wrap it up. But
Smart Gan
this
Update.
is my expectation. I was expecting that, by now you would have rebranded the person. And again, not to also say that Dr.
Smart Gan
Bawumia was the
Update.
sole reason for your loss. And when people say that, I get a bit worried, because I'm sure some other factors could have played, a role in your loss. And some people have even said that you didn't really handle governance that well. So Nana Akufo-Addo, his government was also a contributing factor. So I'm surprised you are here tonight just talking about Bawumia as if he was the only person who hadn't done something right and that the NPP, had lost the election. So how do you say? What do you say to this actually? What do you say to this?
I love politics. I have studied politics for a while. And when you're a candidate, you come into an election with your strength. And that's really what you come into your election with. The one who was on the ballot was none other than the candidate of the New Patriotic Party. If he had won the election, this conversation you will not tell me. You would have said that he won on his own merit. I'm not sure you would have even mentioned the works that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo had done.
We would have.
No, but I'm telling you that I look at candidates. Okay, John Dramani Mahama had not done anything, but the Ghanaian people voted for him.
Are you kidding me?
No, of course.
He was brought back again because of the works perhaps he had done, some interchanges he had done, and some other facilities he had built, and all of that. But for you to say that he didn't do anything,
I'm just giving you a background. Right. Mahama was in opposition for 8 years, so very confidently, the works of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo should make everybody forget what Mahama had done in terms of 8 years.
Unfortunately, that wasn't the case.
Just put it in a scenario,
yes.
Okay? When he was campaigning, he was not campaigning on the things that he had done from 2008 with Ivan Sata Mills and the thing that he had done from 2012 to 2016. He brought fresh ideas. He said in Kokon Kitinkiti, he said 24-hour economy.
Of course, he needed to bring something fresh. But again, somehow also reminded us of what he had done.
Of course.
A few of them.
Of course, but people wanted to look at Nkokon Kitinkiti. And they gave Nkokon Kitinkiti a chance for a man.
And again, they were also fed up with your government.
No, I don't think so.
You didn't,
I don't think so.
Look, Ghanaians really complained.
I don't think so. No, you see, I can understand.
Were you in Ghana? Did you hear what people said about your government?
I can understand the challenges that our government went through.
Exactly.
Okay, I can understand that. Yeah. I'm not blinded to it. I mean, I was here. I worked with the government. I was on networks.
Occupied a portfolio and all that, so you knew the ins and outs.
It's not a big portfolio. It's a very simple work.
We'll come to that. Don't worry. We'll come to that.
Very, very simple work. I mean,
Smart
don't elevate it extraordinarily. I mean, I do. Yeah, it's a big portfolio.
But it is part of your CV. I'm saying we'll come to that.
Smart
of course. It's really just work. I mean,
no problem.
It's just a very simple work.
No problem.
That I was given, which I delivered to my mandate.
We'll go into that.
So, I mean, I think that for me, okay, the government had a lot of successes and had a lot of challenges. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's government from 2017 to 2024 had almost a sandwich challenge. And the first was COVID-19, and no one can be blinded to that. You can't do politics with COVID-19 because I'm a survivor of COVID-19. On the 6th of January 2021, I couldn't breathe. I ended up at Ridge Hospital, and I was there for 30 days.
Up to now, people don't really believe that this COVID-19 thing was real.
No, it was real. I mean, my stories are online.
So you are a testimony.
Of course. I mean, even this week, I met one of my doctors who welcomed me at Ridge Hospital, Dr. Nina. She welcomed me, embraced me. They brought some oxygen. I mean, I was dying.
Interesting.
How you say, like today, maybe you'll be celebrating 5 years of my death, or 4 years of my death. You understand? I would have died, and it would be sad to die, especially when you have a lot of things in you.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that my mandate is done yet. But anyway, I'm grateful to God that I'm here. But and then also we had the challenge of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. These are things you can do politics with. But Nana Addo stood his grounds and was able to stabilize the Ghanaian economy. When we were on lockdown for a long time, people were paid when they stayed home. It's never happened anywhere before. This is not a country of milk and honey on the streets. We worked hard. Frontline workers were paid double salaries. You know that. Okay, so we cannot clearly say, of course, I understand that when we went through the economic challenges, the DDEP was a very, very unpopular work, but we had to do it. And we have explained it over and over again. We have said our sorries for the challenges and the difficulties that we had gone through. Of course, we did not anticipate that COVID was going to come, and so we had gone to the Eurobond a lot of times to do a lot of borrowing and all of that. I mean, all of those things happened in the government, and so we had very precarious challenges, but we chalked a lot of successes, which, of course, if the candidate was good, okay, you can build upon those successes and be able to explain to the electorates that I appreciate the challenges that we went through, and I am part of the processes that we went through, but I can assure you that we are coming out of it. And so for me, I look at it, no matter how you rebrand, no matter how, like I said, I like Sunlight. If Sunlight comes back again after 20 years, I'll still use it. I like Brilliant. Those were the soaps. I like Key Soap, of course. I like Key Soap with a key on it. Many years ago, it wasn't in a rubber. I think that now they've started doing Key Soap in a rubber and all of that.
There's that top packaging,
of course,
and all that.
So for me, I don't think that
I expected it to do the same. Actually,
no, I don't think so. I think that the factors. I think that the factors.
But it's fine.
No, I think
you made it so clear, so it's fine.
I think that the factors for me are very clear. I've looked at Kennedy. I've studied Kennedy. He's been a very viable voice, a very credible voice. He's been a very consistent voice. He's been extremely passionate about Ghana. I see it. I hear it. I see his investments in Ghana. I see the fact that he's homemade. Kennedy is homemade. There are very few people who have wealth that want to use their money to serve their people. He's building the cardio center at 37 Military Hospital. And I said it earlier on that there's not a single president from President Nkrumah that has ever built anything from his personal money. Name it, from President Nkrumah to Buzia. Name it, nobody. Kotoka, nobody. Lehman, name it, nobody. President Rawlings, name it. There's not a single person that has used his own pocket money, profit that must go to his pocket for him to enjoy, sit in his home, sit in his couch. He uses that to be able to build a cardio center. Money that must go to him. He uses that to bring people who are handicapped in Lebanon. He gave money to the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Bring these Ghanaians from Lebanon to Ghana. Not a single politician ever did that. You think that Kennedy is the only rich man in this country? No, of course not. But people don't do that. You understand? And you need a leader who is a human being, who feels human beings, who touches human beings.
Maybe he should just be the philanthropist he is.
I think that Kennedy will be a very great president. I know that Kennedy will be a very great president. You look at his industrialization agenda, you look at his redistribution of the ministries in this country. He's going to take Ministry of Agriculture to Tamale. Okay, Tamale has a lot of raw materials. Okay, that they do. They have livestock. He's going to turn the airport that was built, 90% of that, into cargo. And so at 11 o'clock, a cargo flight can be leaving Tamale and going to Europe and arriving at 5 and sending foodstuffs there. He's going to bring factories. He's going to bring a lot of factories into this country to be able to create sustainable jobs. He's going to take Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources to Ashanti region, bringing Ministry of Trade and Industry to Eastern region, taking Ministry of Education to Central region, taking Ministry of Energy to Western region, taking Ministry of Tourism to Volta region. All of this redistribution is going to grow Ghana, and it's going to make Accra the financial hub. That's how global giants have grown.
But I'm sure you know the reason for which most of these ministries have been, situated in one space, just for them to work hand in hand, and also to share ideas together. And sometimes you may move from this ministry to the other, especially if you are in the same space. It helps with productivity and all of that. But if you are scattering the offices, let me put it that way, that should also be a matter of concern.
No, I don't think you have studied statecraft. Because if you studied statecraft very well,
these are the issues being spoken about.
No, of course, let me explain. That's why I'm here to explain. Okay, if you study statecraft very well, you will realize that what we have tried over the past 68 years.
What?
No, you tell me. You know how many times people need to leave certain parts of this country to come to Accra to chase a paper and a document? Go to Rwanda and see. We want to be able to decentralize and decentralize effectively.
So why? Okay. I'm sorry to peruse this document of yours.
Let me build the global phenomenon. Okay, because what has worked in developed countries is what will work in a developing country.
Well, it also depends on the environment.
No, hold on. No, you see.
So sometimes you need to also study the environment.
Hold on.
And then do your analysis well.
Ike, allow me. If you allow me, you would have read this interview.
Of course.
Statecraft is important. Okay? You want to be able to have an equitable distribution of government and government to the people at the local level. One of my saddest days in this country was December 19th, 2019. And ask me why. Why? Because on that day, the government of the day, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, was going to sign we're going to have a referendum to be able to take local governance to the level where people can vote for their own MMDCs. The sitting government NDC pulled out of it. Today, every single MMDC or DC that is appointed by the politicians. We want to be able to grow this country so citizens can participate in governance. So the redistribution of the ministries, which has never been done over the past 68 years of Ghana's existence, is going to ensure that we bring equitable distribution of Ghana's resources to the Ghanaian people. I'll give you an example of what another did. The independence that was always done. It was always done in Accra. For all of our lives, we've always known that independence was done in Accra. Until Nana Danko Ekufuor came and redistributed it across the country. In Koforidua, when it was done, a PK seller, on that day, he made 1,700 Ghana cedis. Like, I don't know where you come from. But if you come from the village that I come from, and you make 1,700 Ghana cedis in a day, it's a big deal. I'm being honest with you, it's a real
Smart
big deal.
Ghana update.
Okay, so we need to be able to think beyond. Go to Singapore, go to Malaysia, go to Japan, go to China.
Smart Ghana
when you go to
update.
China, every single state in China has all the 4 things working. They have road well done. They have railway well done. They have sea, that is having sea transport well done. And then they have aeroplanes. In this country, we don't even have a lot of multiple airports. Okay, if we put a very good airport in Volta region, do you know how long it will take you to fly from Kotoka to Volta region airport? 15 minutes. You will get there. 15 minutes, you will get there. And that would also increase aviation. So when we are talking about this redistribution, it's what meets global standards. And it's important that we explain it for the Ghanaian people to understand it. Ministry of Agric is going to go to Tamale. You can imagine the level of jobs that will create every single time. Look, we have, how many universities do we have in the north? We have UDS Tamale campus, UDS Navrongo campus, we have UDS Nampala. Look at all these campus. Look at all these universities that we are putting up. They are teaching them very great things. Okay, teaching them agriculture. Why can't we use our land that we have in the 5 northern regions to be able to feed Ghana and feed Africa and feed the rest of the world? Why can't we send yam, fresh yam, from Accra to London for people to buy it on that very day? You live in Europe, you see, people send flowers all the way from Netherlands to London, fresh flowers every single day. And so we are looking at how Ghana can become an export-driven country rather than an import-driven country. Ghana has always been dependent on import, every day import. And we're not getting tired of that. We need to be able to drive it. Every single year, universities, I'm a lecturer, we graduate more than 300,000 plus people into the labor market. Labor market tells us that the labor union has a deficit of 500,000 people that are not employed every single year. This week, 140,000 people are starting national service. In a year, they'll be done. Those that were done, majority of them do not have jobs. And so every single time you have deficits of people who do not have jobs. And Kennedy is going to create sustainable jobs. Jobs. That's what's going to be important for us.
We have 24-hour economy. We have Nkukon and all that. I'm sure there'll be some job creation for the youth. Right?
You want me to talk about John Dramani Mahama?
No, you just made an assumption that some
people
are out of school already, done with their service, but of course there wouldn't be that opportunity for them to work. But I'm saying there are policies, laid down for these people.
Let me wish John Dramani Mahama a happy belated birthday. And let me state that he campaigned on a 24-hour economy, which was a shift system of jobs. It's been almost 12 months. We haven't seen its full materialization of it.
Capital intensive, that's what they say.
He should have thought about it before he made that promise.
We need to give them some time.
Or how much time does he have? He just has 3 more years and we come to take over the realms of governance. You see, in this country, we run a 4-year term development plan. That's what we have in this country, and we must appreciate that. So every leader comes and must do what they have to do
within the 4 years.
But you must be able to lay a stronger foundation. Okay? Of course, every government creates jobs, but not many governments create entrepreneurial jobs. Entrepreneurial jobs is an ability that sunlight will not die. Ideal milk will not die. Carnation will not die. Milo. Do you see how Milo has changed? Milo has changed from tin to paper to rubber to Milo. Now Milo, if you have 1 CD, you can buy Milo.
So we can do a general conversation so that we don't mention the
I like Milo.
product.
It doesn't matter. It's okay. The children like Milo. It gives energy. I'm
Dr.
telling them they'll
Badu,
come and advertise.
Let's move on.
They'll come and advertise.
Please, let's move on.
So if you look at how things have gone, you need a leader that is entrepreneurial. And entrepreneurship is where you invest in businesses and start businesses and think businesses and multiple businesses. That's all we need. Look at this company that you are in, Star FM. Okay, I'll use you as an example. You have Star Assurance. Okay, you used to have Unibank. What else do you have? You have all your networks, Kasapa, you have GH1, and maybe all the other companies that you have. Okay, when I was outside, I saw that you had put an advert there that you are leasing some aspect of your property. That's entrepreneurship. It's created a job for you, Ike, to sit here. This man has been here long. I've seen him for a very long time. He's always here. So that's what entrepreneurs do. They create jobs. They create real jobs, physical jobs that put food on people's table. That's what we need. There's a sizable part of people who enter into politics, and when their government is out, they don't have jobs to do. Do we run a country like that? We don't run a country like that. So when we were young, we were told that at the backyard of every home, you had a little plantation. If you don't have contomere, you have pepper. If you don't have pepper, you have garden eggs.
Backyard farming.
Backyard farming. Today is it there? Everywhere is cemented. They have cemented everywhere. You understand? When I lived at Bema camp, we had plantain. We had everything, including sheep, goat, cattle, pig, everything. We had it there. Because the barracks, they'll bring it. I lived at Juba Villas number 48 with my guardian, Kennedy Agyapong, so rest in peace. And so if you look at how we grew up, that's not what we see today. Which is why, for me, we need a president who is entrepreneurial, who has been a businessman the longest of his life, started businesses, knows the risk of it, is able to bring investors in. Kennedy has a lot of investors who are willing to come and invest into Ghana when he is leader and president of this country. And I'm certain that the 250,000 plus delegates who are going to make a decision for the future of the new Patriotic Party on the 31st of January 2026 will choose Kennedy Agyapong as the flag bearer. That begins our rebuilding efforts. If indeed we say we're a party that wants to rebuild, that begins our rebuilding effort. When Kennedy is the flag bearer of the new Patriotic Party, so that every single grassroots member can feel that the party is part of them. That's what we need.
How would you feel if he doesn't become the flag bearer for the NPP? How would you feel?
I don't think that I'll be sad. That'll be one. I'll be sad. But I don't think Kennedy is losing this election. I'm very confident of Kennedy's victory. I've been on the campaign tour. All the places that we have gone to. Today, they are in Kratchi. Okay, in Oti region. They are finishing Oti region tomorrow. Okay, we've done close to about 171 constituencies out of 276 constituencies. Done 13 regions. Okay, I will be very, very sad that Kennedy will lose this election. But I don't think that Kennedy will lose this election. I'm very confident that Kennedy will win this election because we speak to the delegates and they tell us very clearly that, look, baby a party na kwa koduno. We need Kennedy Agyapong. Look at what is happening. We lost all our seats. Do you think we are proud of it as a party? We have lost all our seats. We are going to Pandai. The court says we should go to Pandai. On the eve of Christmas is when we are going to have that election. When I was young, yes, you'll be in Kasai 24 for Ukurum. Well, but look at it today. Now 24th, we are going to vote.
We are going to Pandai.
We are going to Pandai to go and vote.
Are you winning that seat or you're losing?
You see, that was one of my sad moments when we have a constitutionally mandated body like the Electoral Commission who must come and tell us who has won a presidential election and who has won parliamentary election. It does not hold, and it is not the responsibility of any flag bearer to come and make any decision. No, it's the country, this Ghana is guided by rules. Do you understand? The Electoral Commission must come and tell us, the people who voted, that based on everything that I put together, Dramani Mahama has won, Mahmoud has lost. Do you know the risk that we put this country through by the early concession? Afenyo-Markin was not the flag bearer, but I stand up for him always. I watched Afenyo-Markin run from one constituency to another constituency, and I felt sad for him because at the time he was majority leader, and he saw clearly that people were being their seats, they were taking it from them.
I saw him go to Insawoma Doedri, go and fight for his brother Anodompre. In the end, they counted 3 times and brought it to
Smart
Tesano.
Gun Update.
He went to Okankwe Central. He went to Tema Central. He went to Ablekuma. There was not a single constituent. He even went to Akwetia. And on the
Smart
eve
Gun
of
Update.
the president swearing in on the 6th of January 2025, Afenyo Makin stood there and said, let's swear in and eskumi so that the court can deal with itself. You were there. You followed it. So, if you're a leader, you must wait for the constitutionally mandated bodies to do their work. Look at the number of electoral commission officers who were mishandled in the hands of the opposition NDC at the time. Look at it. Declare. Count. Look at it. We put a lot of people's life at risk. And I think that, look, going forward, we need a leader who is bold, a leader who has patience, who will wait. We have to wait for the electoral commission to come and tell us that the 2028 general election, based on all the results that have come from all 276 constituencies, I declare, and that's the electoral commissioner, whoever it is at that time, Kennedy Agyapong as president-elect of the Republic of Ghana. That is the right thing that must be done. Of course, elections have been done in this country from 1992, 1996, 2000, 2004, 2008, 2012, 2016, 2020, 2024. Elections have been done. We don't have these things happening. So look, even the decision that was made on the 8th of December 2024, we are still paying it. And one by the Chinese we are still paying it. To the expand, look, they've gone to court. We don't know how many more.